Kia ora, I'm Alex Walker, ko koramatua te rohi o Tamatea, Central Hawke's Bay. I am the Mayor of the Central Hawke's Bay District. Cyclone Gabrielle tipped our lives upside down, and Central Hawke's Bay was hit by hundreds of millimetres of rain, particularly in the ranges. We're a big land area with 3,300 square kilometres of area, but only 15,000 in population. So the impacts were huge.
On the night of the 13th and 14th of February, we had over 500 millimetres of rainfall across many parts of the district. That caused pretty significant flooding. We had huge amounts of damaged infrastructure, both public and private.
We had hundreds of roads that were closed, thousands of people without power, without phone, without radio communication. And so the biggest concern for us first thing that morning was actually the isolation of people all over our huge district.
So Stantec are our existing professional service provider for our roading network. Because of their existing relationship here and some of their staff on the ground, they were able to respond really quickly, and that enabled us to get on top of things.
Stantec has a long history in disaster emergency responses and recovery programs across the country and across Asia Pacific. Every time we see one, we're learning more things, developing more tools, systems, how can we be more efficient, how can we get better outcomes for community. And in response, we need people who can make good decisions fast. And so we brought in a number of people at senior levels to be able to make those decisions out in the field with contractors. We knew they needed us, and so before we couldn't get into the region, we flew in the people that needed to be here. In a disaster, knowledge is key. And so one thing we learned many years ago is that we need to be able to capture as much of that data in real time as we could. On day one, we established a GIS system where all of our people who are out in the network could capture information on their phones and create a summary of what the faults were they were seeing as they were seeing them happen. We ended up having around 1,500 faults across the network. It included landslides, bridge failures, bridge washouts, approaches to bridges being removed through the scouring process of the rivers, and a whole lot of other damage to the roading infrastructure.
One of the things that proved to be really powerful was the strength of the relationship that Stantec and Council had going into the event, and what that meant was Stantec were able to draw on some other existing relationships with other suppliers, sub-consultants and other contractors that they had worked with and that Council had worked with over a long period of time, working together really cohesively, which ultimately was what makes a difference for those in the community who needed to be reconnected to things.
The mantra in Central Hawke's Bay District is that together we thrive. We must do things together. Stantec were there working with us, and not just with us, but with our community directly, taking ownership to get those communities back up and running.
A really cool example of one of the bridge engineers from Stantec taking full ownership of a patch of our network up under the Ruahine Ranges that was severely impacted, and seeing him jump on the back of the quad bike with the farmer up there to go and address some issues on our roading network as well as some issues for the farmer himself was just really cool to see.
One thing I'm really proud of is the way that Stantec responded. I think our team did a great job of being able to drop what they were doing and prioritise this as a client and a community where we really feel like we add value to.
So proud actually of the way that community pulled together to look after each other, and for us to then step alongside and help them, and the resilience within our people was incredible. I will remember that and be proud of that forever, I think.